And we are live. So excited. I'm here with my friend Anastasia. And then we have over 160 people who raised their hand and said, we want to learn. What is this program? It sounds amazing. I've been getting so many messages. Hi, friend.
Hi,
Hi. I'm
good
so
to see
excited
good to see you. I am very excited.
to just reveal. So here's the backstory, right? Everybody likes behind the stage. As we're waiting for people to join into this live show, there will be a recording. You'll be able to ask us questions. We met at a conference, at an HR conference in Indianapolis, I want to say like 3-4 months ago.
That's
And
what I'm thinking. A couple of months ago,
yeah.
yeah.
And as always, if you have ever been a speaker at a conference, you have a speaker lounge and you grab coffee and you meet your people and you're like, do you see what I see? Oh my God, the HR world is changing. There's so many new things. And we were chatting about it and we said, what are you seeing? What am I seeing? We have both worked with different companies globally across the world with big companies and small companies. And hi, Mandeep. Like I see people joining. Happy to be here. If you guys are watching us live, put a comment. I would love to say hello to you. So, really, this program was born out of the idea that nobody is teaching this stuff. Unless you're a consultant, like we've been with so many different organizations, you're doing the work on the ground. How do we support our HR colleagues in moving into a more strategic role? So, this presentation today is really a reveal of a program that we've been working on for the past 2 months in collaboration and seeing, okay, what are the needs and how do we help you move from constantly putting down fires into a more strategic role where we're actually solving real business challenges.
Yeah.
So that's what today is about. It really will be valuable if you are an internal employee who wants to move into more strategy, who is seeing all the changes. But again, if you're a consultant, I think you'll learn something new too. And yeah, we're just going to present to you 5 critical business challenges that we're seeing with different clients and how can you approach them.
Hmm.
Am I on the right path? Let's go.
Absolutely. And we actually came up with an amazing model, and I'm sure it will be really interesting for everyone because it summarizes many important concepts. It actually puts together all the trends that we see as professionals. So stay tuned. We will reveal an amazing new model called SPIN.
Spin. Let's spin it. Let's take it for a
Let's spin
spin.
it.
Take it for
Let's
a
take it for
ride.
a spin.
Okay.
And I'm
So,
thinking back to this moment when we met, and I remember, yes, it was kind of, it's always great to find an amazing person. And I remember how we were trying to figure out just how many years we have between us in HR and in coaching.
yeah.
And I'm not even sure whether I'm allowed to say that, but between us, we have about 50 years of HR
No, no, I
experience.
can't. We're too young for that.
All right, we're very young for that, but we still have a lot of experience, and we have about 2,000 hours of coaching. So it really sparked, and we thought, how do we put this together? So, just a couple of words about me. I have more than 25 years of global experience in HR. I'm very proud to be faculty with SHRM. I'm educational partner with SHRM, and I have been for more than, I want to say, 20 years, a long
Yep.
time. I'm also faculty with Blanchard, and I'm executive coach, so doing a lot of exciting stuff. But over and above that, we have been working with clients across the globe, helping them build their leadership pipelines, helping them establish their coaching process. And I'm very, very happy to be here with you, Anna, to really disclose our findings and our intention to build a program which combines HR expertise with coaching expertise. Over to you.
Yes, thank you so much. I love it. So when we met, as I said, we have very similar background and it's different. What I also love is I have worked with clients across North America. You have worked with a lot of clients also in Europe and in Eastern Europe. And I'm sure your clients were all over the world. And I know every client that we go in, they think they have unique challenges. And in some way they do. But when, like us, we work with hundreds of clients, we see that challenges are actually very similar. Right now, we're all trying to solve performance management. We're revamping HR functions. We're all struggling with the remote work. So I'm really excited to introduce to you, what are we seeing as consultants? What are we solving for as consultants right now? And what are some business challenges that we've been seeing? So let's dive into the evolving role of HR professionals, because that's what's on my mind right now. That's where I feel like we're maybe failing organizations in some ways. Because if you look at the last 100 years, right, we started with payroll and job hierarchy, rewards. We went into leadership development in the 50s and 60s and succession management. We had war for talent in the 80s, which I feel like continues with the technology revolution. If I'm looking at like 1990 and what is happening right now with artificial intelligence and automation, it's kind of like very similar technological revolution that will really change the way we operate. And then of course in 2000s, this is where we kind of got, I personally got into HR, and I got it through facilitation and coaching into culture, what creates culture, diversity and inclusion space, industrial psychology, human design, systems. And now we're in 2022, 23, 24. It's a lot about hybrid. We're finally talking about gig economy, mental health, and we're moving into January. We put it 2024. I just today in the morning, I was like, wow, the year is almost done.
Did you see the rocket fly?
I saw the rocket is
It was
flying.
amazing, wasn't it?
And that's why we guys are inviting you. If you're watching this, again, say hi in the comments. If you're watching a recording, what does the future look like? What is required right now? What are those skills? So we created kind of a little bit of a roadmap. And I don't know, do you want to speak about it a little?
Well, I just love how when we were putting this together, we had an amazing conversation about how HR is evolving and how many reports we've seen recently describing in many different words literally the same thing, how in HR we're supposed to manage resources and how we are supposed to be a business partner and relationship manager. And I would say that probably every client I talk to these days uses those words.
Yeah.
And everybody talks about business acumen, and people want to really develop business acumen to understand business needs better. And then cross-functional business solutions. So we are in the business together as business partners, true business partners. And the question is, how do we build relationships, connections? How do we navigate politics? How do we make it happen for the whole organization?
Yeah.
And then I just love this one HR operation change to system. So I don't know if you want to say a couple of things about this.
Well, this is kind of like where I am seeing that we have so many job functions and titles, and all of this have been like, recruitment is working by themselves while rewards are working by themselves, and then we're doing leadership development on this side. And I think cross-functional really means we're bringing everything under one umbrella. How do we create products that will serve the clients? Who are we serving? What are we serving? And really, that's how I see this change to like a one function and one system. And to your point, when we talk about business acumen and business partnerships, nobody's teaching HR people. Like, they don't know. I think because I've owned my own business for a long time and I'm always in those rooms where decisions are being made, and so are you. I really want to help and support our HR colleagues with saying, like, how do we actually get involved before there is a budget, before there is a strategy? Can we start with people and be like, do we even have resources? And what are we trying to solve? And then move. And the rocket keeps going. So these are 5 critical HR business functions that we will cover in our model that we have identified.
That's really great. That's really great. So one thing we did when we were getting ready for this conversation, we actually looked through a lot of research. And I have to say, in 2023, there have been so many reports published, lots of interesting insights, lots of valuable valuable opinions around this. And I think this one comes from Gartner, which is a huge, one of the leading players, one of the leading opinion leaders in HR domain. And I just loved how they formulated the key change happening in HR. And the way they see it is moving from performance behaviors, which are very important, fundamental, and we do care about corporate performance. We do invest a lot of time and effort into goal setting and managing down, but it's now all about human-centered leadership capabilities, human-centered skilled change adaptability, and I'm sure everybody has heard those words. The key question is, what would it take for us to upskill, to make sure that we're future ready, to make sure that we meet this business need? And this is what we're actually talking about today. We are trying to be extremely helpful and practical about this. And stay tuned, because we are about to take a deep dive into a very practical conversation. Just how do you do that?
And I think this is also, I'll add, it's such a perfect example of we're moving HR, because it was all around performance risk compliance, into coaching, facilitation, strategy, partnering. And that's where I also see that connection.
Yeah.
So with that HR as one system, we start looking again at systemic issues. What are some systemic issues when you know, wow, we need to change something. Things are not working here. I'm putting down the same fires. It's the same complaints. It's the same processes. So I think being a partner in HR is really about seeing organizations as system, right? And how do we work with systems? Response delays, like why is it taking so long to get feedback? What are some hidden conflicts that are corroding trust on our teams, where people are not collaborating within their team and cross-functionally? What is reducing our effectiveness, our human effectiveness? And that's where we start speaking, right, about hybrids, about disconnect, about mental health issues. What are some leadership problems that we're having? Why are people not feeling appreciated? Why are people quitting? Why are we losing talent? Why do we have high turnover? Internal competition is another. It's systemic issue, right? When we're working with sales teams, they have systemically been set up for competition. And then we're wondering, why is like such a toxic culture on our sales team? And then, of course, what else? Again, in the comments when you're watching a recording or now, you can put, what else are you seeing? What are some symptoms of systemic issues that have been around for maybe hundreds of years?
That's a lot of big questions.
Yeah. I mean, these are all the things we're addressing.
Yes, we are. And that's great. When you came up with this, can you tell us a little more about those big numbers?
Well, I was looking at, okay, HR professionals that are feeling burnout. And I see this all the time, not just with HR, with managers, with leaders. We're all tired. We're exhausted from COVID. 98% have reported feeling burnout. 73%, just think about this number, 73% of HR professionals feel like they don't have the tools they need to carry out their job effectively. And the tools also include, there's knowledge, there's power and authority, there are resources, there's upskilling. So we're expecting a lot of things from HR that they have not been set up for. And then, of course, 75 to 375 million of people will switch occupational categories and will have to learn skills. And this is automation and artificial intelligence. So I am personally really passionate about helping you, if you're in HR role, to come to this next evolution of HR. And that will require you to have business strategy, to have coaching skills and facilitation skills, if you don't want your job to become obsolete and be replaced by ChatGPT writing employee handbooks.
So those numbers, this statistics comes from McKinsey, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think it was in McKinsey, and it was also Burson, I think, Academy. We're also like, we've looked everywhere and we said, okay, what are the numbers? What are we talking about?
Absolutely. And building up on what you said, Josh Burson, who's another big voice in HR domain, who's a big opinion leader, just published a very interesting paper about leadership development domain. And there were two big numbers that really caught my attention. One was 10%, and about 10% of company leaders prioritize the skills and techniques associated with strong coaching. So 10% think that coaching is the key. And then compare it to 92%, an impressive 92% of highly mature companies aim to develop leaders at all levels. So to me, it sounds like everybody's looking for this magic potion. Just how do we upskill our leaders? But then only 10% really appreciate the true power of coaching. And I'm right now enrolled in an amazing program with Madeline Blanchard. I'm getting certified as an executive coach, and we had this amazing conversation last week about how coaching is very undervalued as the key ingredient, key tool, key magic potion to really make a difference in the way we lead and support people. So again, this is what we're here for, to bridge gaps, to make sense of it and really help you get the right skills. So wrapping up this starting part of this conversation, Anna, let's formulate 3 key takeaways.
Well, looking right, that's what we've been doing for the last 2 months. We got together and we say, okay, coaching is a critical leadership skill. Like, why are people not using it? HR professionals need to master coaching if you want to work cross-functionally. Because think about it, you have the deepest, closest relationships to CEO, you know all the secrets, to CFO. So if you have a coaching skills, I think you'll get a lot more buy-in into any initiatives that you're trying to achieve. And then the critical capability of applying coaching to real business challenges. And I think both you can witness our accent. Anastasia and I are both from Eastern Europe, and we're all about practical and tangible. We're like, hey, I can give you 5 books today, go read them. But this requires all like hands-on practice. So part of this model is a lot of practicing real life business challenges. Am I on the right path?
Absolutely. So jumping back to when we first met at the conference, at the speakers lounge, the bright idea was, there's so much need in making sure that coaching is practical. We need to equip leaders, we need to equip HR professionals with the right skills, make it really useful and practical. And we have the capability, we have the experience to do this. So let's make it happen. Yeah. And this is what we did. We came up with a model which has 5 key domains. And those domains represent the business need where HR needs to apply their coaching skills to really make a difference for the business, to really drive transformation. And I'll start at the top and I will move clockwise. At the top, we have solution for powerful employee experience. So as an HR person, you are driving employee experience. You're making it happen. This is what you're probably focused on. And this is where you need your coaching skills. And we'll tell you how you can do that. Mm-hmm. Number 2, going clockwise, is partnering with leaders and teams. And we'll take a deep dive in a minute to look at this closely. But you're probably thinking about upskilling. You're probably thinking about enhancing your company's capabilities. And again, this is where coaching will be a great tool for you. And then you're a part of a bigger team. You're driving internal projects. You're supposed, and I'm sure you are, a big leader in internal project management. And again, coaching will be a huge tool for you in this domain. Looking beyond organization, I'm sure you have a lot of external stakeholders and you are building an external employer brand for your company. And again, the question is just, how do I use coaching in this domain? And then I really want you to pay attention to the last one, which is bright yellow, color of being happy, the heart color probably. It all starts with you. You can only drive this if you have the energy, if you have the support you need, if you have the right mindset toolkit. to navigate personal resources, because you are the magic potion that enables this whole movement, enables this transformation. So it's very important to help others. It's very important to be that change agent for everybody else, but it really starts with you. So make sure that you're maintaining your balance, make sure that you have access to your resources, that you recharge your batteries, and you will need your coaching skills to support yourself and people around you who are doing the same job. So that's it. Anna, how about that? And are you ready to take a deep dive?
Yeah, let's dive deep into each one of them. If you're
All
watching,
right.
we're gonna cover what are the skills, what are the skills inside each one of them. We're
Yeah.
looking at the solutions for powerful employee experience, right? And this is where we're gonna start talking about how do we drive motivation for the job. People are disengaged. There's a huge amount again of data of disengagement. People are checked out. How do we remove process hurdles? Because we know every time something happens, there's a new policy created, and there's a new policy, and there's more bureaucracy, and there are more hurdles. And how do we overcome that? How do we renegotiate job expectations? Because this is again where we see, and this is a coaching conversation, dissatisfaction, talent retention, right? Inability to hire for talent. What are the job expectations? What do we actually need? How do we build belonging? Belonging has been a big conversation. I've been doing D&I work for the past 10 years, and it started with like, we need more diverse talent, we need more diversity. And then we started talking about inclusion and what is a part of inclusion, where people feel like they belong, they can do their best work, they can be themselves, they can stop wasting time pretending to be someone else. They can
Yeah.
actually feel like this is my company, this is my organization. And then how do we assess the culture? What is the culture? Because employee experience, again, I look at HR, and how can you have a bigger role inside organization and say, hey, employee experience, and I'll talk more about my experience working with
Mhm.
companies and revamping the whole employee experience. It starts way before we hire someone, and it
Yeah.
ends way after someone already left our company.
Yeah.
All of it is part of the
Yeah.
experience.
And I just want to say that everything that you just said, all the bullets here come from research. So what we did, we worked very hard over the last few months, really trying to understand what does it mean to professionals like yourself, and what is it that you work on? What is your priority? So we were asking people, we did research, we looked through a lot of published papers, and we were looking for very specific practical examples where do people need coaching. And that's the whole difference about this program. We are bringing coaching to the business need. We're bridging this gap. And Anna, I'm just wondering if you have an example, a very specific example. What would your did you have any situation with your client where they applied coaching, used coaching in performance cycle?
Oh, yeah. I feel like performance cycle, performance management is all coaching, right? And I'm going to talk a little bit about employee experience. And I was wondering, is that something you wanted to share your experience? Because I think you had a really recent experience in performance.
Oh, yeah. So when we were getting ready for this chat, we just went through a lot of different examples. Right now, I work with a client who are reimagining their performance cycle. And they already have a robust system with goal setting and with the monitoring system and all of that. But the key question is, how do we make it more human centric? How do we incorporate coaching in this? And one specific example that we just worked on last week was, if you are a business leader and you have to deliver a tough conversation with a low performer, how can you stay human centric? How can you stay kind without compromising the quality of your performance management system?
Yeah.
So to me, it's an amazing example how you use coaching in a very nuanced way to really leverage your performance management system.
Yeah. And also the goals change, right? Feedback is part of it. Growth conversations are part of it. challenges, how do we coach into performance? Because what I see a lot of my clients do when we're brought in, when there's a very high turnover, that a lot of managers, and that's not specifically HR, a lot of managers just fire people because they don't know how to do performance coaching. They don't know how to uncover the blind spots and really like coach someone through challenges. So that's where it comes up. And it's a great example. Garrett in the comments asked, Anya, how do you view artificial intelligence HR role in the HR conversation right now? This is a perfect example. We can have a perfect system set up where we say, by December, we're setting the budget, then we're setting goals, then we're giving feedback, then we're identifying high and low performers. And we have this very like step-by-step system. What we're forgetting that businesses are run by human beings. And within every system, there will be, right, some conflicts. Some people are not working together. The challenges changed. All of a sudden, someone left the team, someone was added to the team. Human dynamics. And that's where coaching is. I feel like if we're talking about artificial
Mhm.
intelligence, anything that is processed can be automated. We're going to automate a
Mhm.
lot of products. What we cannot automate is social challenges, social problems. Someone is crying. What is Chat GPT is going to do for someone who is a high performer and who feels, like their, I don't know, their project has been abandoned? You cannot automate that.
Neglected. I spoke with, I was coaching a top leader yesterday, actually. And we had this amazing conversation. This leader said, you know what, I've been so busy recently and I feel like my whole team has been neglected. So
Yeah.
this is such a powerful word. And thank you for this question about AI. We're not certain just yet how it will unfold and whether it will replace everyone. But what we do know is that the power of human connection is definitely the thing of the future. So let's move on. And thank you for your questions. Keep them coming. It's really
Yeah.
great to actually address your question. And you might have noticed that the first domain started with the words S. The second started with the letter P, which means that we're building up our spin model. And so just, stay tuned. We have a few more letters. Second domain is partnering with leaders and teams. And Anna, is it okay if I go
Yeah,
through
yeah,
this
take
one?
it. Take it.
Yeah, so S was all about building employee experience. And this is where you just operate your system, your people management system within the company. P, partnering with the leaders and teams takes you to the next level. We hear a lot about the need to build our capabilities, to unlock potential, to reimagine leadership. Oh my goodness, there's been so much debate and discussion around this. Facilitate meaningful human connection, help people learn how to learn, find skills and knowledge inside the company. And again, just making sense of this in a very practical way. We all hear this every single day. It's very difficult to operationalize it. And the question is, how do we do this? There are so many big words, so many big insights. How do I make it happen? And this is exactly our point. What we will do during the program is we will go through those domains, through those behaviors one by one, through case studies, through conversations, through facilitated discussions, etc. And we will really work on your tools, the skill set, toolkit to really enable you to do all of those things.
Yeah.
And
We're
Anna,
also actually
there's a
gonna
big,
have. Oh yeah, I didn't know we had a slide. I'm like, oh, look at this life
there's a
experience.
big announcement.
Yeah, December 7th, and we'll send you a link. We're actually going to do a deep dive into one of these domains, and it's going to be partnering with leaders and teams. And we decided to, because we were thinking, okay, out of the 5, if we were to do a deep dive into one and really show you what it looks like inside the business, we figured like partnering with teams and leaders is the big one, because this is where you get to sell your initiative, whatever you think, and you get to work cross-functionally. You get to position yourself as someone who can move a little bit from constant servicing and triaging problems, into more of like partnering with the leadership team. It's like, what is the product we're trying to create? So if you're interested, it is going to be complimentary. It's a webinar on December 7th. At the end of this presentation, there'll be a QR code and a link to register. Would love to have you guys join us.
Yes, so there will be a QR code at the end of this conversation, so stay tuned, and we'll show you exactly how you can sign up. So do not miss this opportunity. And just like Anna said, this is complimentary, which is amazing.
Oh, I know.
All right, so moving on to I in the SPIN model this is internal project management. There's a lot going on in your company, lots of bright professionals trying to collaborate together, trying to make your strategy a reality, experiencing challenges on the way. And as an HR leader, you're supposed to do things well beyond your usual traditional HR domain. You're probably facilitating transformation across the whole organization. You're probably connecting with important stakeholders, possibly overcoming challenges. You probably upskill your top leadership team to manage transformation. And I'm just wondering if you had any experience with that. You get real-time understanding of project status. You have competent talent in project roles. Anna, is it okay if I share an example on this upskill your top leadership
Yes,
team?
go ahead.
Yeah, so between us, we have a lot of different examples. So a couple of years ago, I worked for a year supporting a top team in an international company who were trying to turn around their company, who were trying to implement agile project management at the very top, and then to be cascaded. This change had to be cascaded throughout the whole global company. And some people on this leadership team were on board immediately. They were engaged. They were interested in this. Some of them were very skeptical, but then as a top person on the team, as CEO, you really need everybody to be on board. And I was invited by HR director. I was her facilitator. I helped her unite the whole team, upskill them so that they can all work on this initiative together and they can be as effective as possible. And it's interesting because it's another role for HR person, relatively new. So you are empowering, you are upskilling very top team, and it takes a lot of courage, a lot of skills, and a lot of motivation to do that.
Yeah, and I feel like if I'll add a couple of things is we and you are working with very intelligent, genius people. They're super smart and they don't know how to work together. And this is where you can have the best transformation ideation, you can have the best product, but we all know implementation is where most projects fail. So to me, internal project management is really helping people work together. And again, that is something that nobody teaches. How do you facilitate workflow between the teams, between projects that are all happening at the same time with all the different personality types? This is a whole other skill set. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with strategy, with like setting goals. This is like facilitating real human beings. And the smarter they are, the harder it is to get them to work together.
Yeah, so I'm not going to unveil the whole mystery here, but I just want to say that when we work on that with you, when you come to our program, we will talk about things like navigating politics, which is a very valuable skill. Things like building relationship with key stakeholders, analyzing your brand, all of those things. So hopefully you will enjoy this. It's going to be really valuable. Moving on to the next one, and that's an N, and that's nurturing community and employer brand. There was a lot of research recently, and I think, again, some of it came from Gartner, which was really good. And there was a very good report about how HR needs to manage external stakeholders because companies outsource a lot of business operations. Companies engage gig workers, all kinds of people who are beyond your company. So the skill, which is really, really important for us in HR profession, is to learn how to nurture community and how to nurture employer brand. And that would include things like understanding vendor landscape, finding knowledge and skills outside the company. It's hard enough to understand talent within your company, but now we need to understand broader landscape, negotiate the right project management approach, evaluate external team candidates. Anna, any
Oh,
interesting examples around this one?
I mean, employer brand, and I think I actually have an example. We have a slide, for example, but employer brand is everything. I keep thinking about employment cycle, right? And how do we coach? Because really, if you have, and right now, especially with Glassdoor, every candidate is going to go online and look up your company and make a decision. What do you stand for? What are people saying? Because I always talk about, here's who we say we are. What is the world saying about us? And if I go online today and I look at your social media presence and I look at your employer brand, what am I going to find out? With the employment cycle is interesting because I said it starts, and I do a lot of this work, really revamping the whole employment cycle. It starts with pre-hire. Who are we trying to attract to our brand? What kind of people will work here? How do we do hiring, and what are we going to be known for? What is our onboarding looks like? How are we onboarding our people, again, in a culture of inclusion, in a culture of equity? What is our brand externally with our stakeholders? How are we retaining our talent? What does working here looks like, right? A talent retention.
Mm-hmm.
And then how do we exit people with grace? How do we
Mm-hmm.
actually build alumni network and referrals? Especially, I live in San Diego. It's a biotech paradise. But again, it's a very limited talent pool. How many people do you know who are scientists specifically in biotech? So if you mess up your reputation, you're screwed. It's going to be really expensive to find talent, to hire talent, and to keep them. So this is where I feel like
Mm-hmm.
HR has again a potential to unite the recruitment, the talent acquisition, the learning and development, rewards, career coaching, all of this under the umbrella, and say, okay, how are we going to revamp and optimize and future proof our employment cycle? What does it
And I
look
just,
like to be an
yeah, I just love the way you said parting ways with grace. And another thing, what you just did was you used your coaching skill because you are asking a lot of questions.
Mm.
No one knows all the answers, and it's just too complicated for one person to understand the complexity entirely. But it's our job to ask the right questions, make the right connections, and just keep curious mind and build bridges with people. So thank you so much for embodying this, not just describing this.
I'm just passionate about this. I don't know if you can see. I love coaching. I love facilitation.
All right. So last letter in the SPIN model is navigating personal resources. And I'm not going to say much about this now, but this is a very important area. This is all about you. This is about you creating your own presence. This is about you finding your own purpose and voice and resources and really being the one capable of making a difference. So I'm thinking about all the people listening to this. Thank you for making the time to come here, making the effort. You are definitely, just by definition, you are driving this change and you're looking for answers. And I really want to say there's so much going on, and I'm sure you will find a lot of good sources, and I'm very, very happy that you're finding this interesting right now. So Anna, let's get practical.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were being practical this whole time. Okay.
I mean, that was very practical, but now this is where we're kind of getting to the very detailed. So this is the model. This is the 5 big domains, and this is your chance to really work on practical application of your coaching skills to very real business scenarios.
Yeah.
So this is in a nutshell everything that we have discussed so far, just some example business needs, some example behaviors that we will be looking into. And the question is, how do we make it happen? It sounds enormous, doesn't it? Sounds huge. Well, luckily, we have a lot of experience around wrapping a complex issues into very actionable learning experience. So Anna, over to you. Do you want to walk us through this?
Well, we were thinking, right? What is it going to look like? We know you don't have the capacity. I'm really happy you'll see the PDC. It will give you 20 SHRM points for your renewal. And thank you, Anastasia, for bringing that as a faculty member. We're looking at the program schedule. What would it look like to teach all of these things? And I said, I am all about practical. I'm all about practice. I do this every day of my life. And what the way we structure this is that we will share with you, we'll have a session where we're going to share with you concepts. Like if we're talking about navigating politics internally and how to intentionally map out relationship with stakeholders, obviously we will share a lot of concepts from our own experience. But I think the power of this program, and we'll have a very small group of HR people that will start with us in January, it will be case clubs. It's like, let's share specific examples. What is happening inside your organization? What are your real business challenges right now? Because I don't want to talk about philosophical and be hypothetical about it. You will actually have homework and you'll have a lot of hours in between to say, here's what I'm struggling with. You're getting access to 2 consultants who can help you work on your real deliverables. Okay. We're looking at module 2. You will see the green ones is peer-to-peer coaching. Every time after we teach a concept, and that's what I see in my work, you can read a book. Don't be in this program if you're not willing to roll up your sleeves and actually coach other people and be coached by other people. It's all about implementation. It's all about practice. I see a lot of people are scared of coaching because, again, you understand it in theory, but being with another human being in a breakout room, having a very specific scenario and actually coaching someone for 20 minutes. And we have seen amazing results from that. This is where the power lies. So again, we are looking for a very small group of people who are internal employees who want to restructure their HR processes and who are willing and ready to have homework assignments, to participate in case clubs, to participate in coaching each other. So this is what the schedule looks like. Again, if you're watching this, please leave us comments, send us DMs, private messages, emails, leave comments on LinkedIn. We will gonna address them. If you have any questions about the program, if you have any questions about why these 5 domains, why not another 75, again, happy to answer any questions you might have. And there will be certification at the end. And as I said, you will qualify for 20 PDC credits. Anything you want to add?
Well, I just want to say, number one, it's intense, and we absolutely acknowledge that, and we realize that, but we were trying to pack it with valuable insights. So number one, it's intense. Number two, it's extremely practical. Just like Anna said, we will be using peer coaching, so there will be lots of practice, case clubs, homework assignments. And when we say case clubs, it means that there will be live situation that we will be solving and really thinking, how do you apply coaching? How do you transform your process to incorporate coaching? So from organizational level through to very practical one-on-one level, what happens when you're trying to incorporate coaching? So fantastic. Yeah.
Sorry, I have a question here. Ksenia asked, do you have to be certified coach and a SHRM member in order to participate? No, you don't. You don't have to. I mean, it helps if you already have some coaching skills, but we'll be teaching you a lot of skills. You'll have a lot to practice. You do not have to be SHRM certified. This is just an added bonus. If you are and you have to get recertified, this program is qualified for them. But no, if you are internal and you're like, I am tired of putting down fires, I want to be more strategic, you are welcome to join this program. You do not.
That's right. Building up on what you just said, one little comment. We're not teaching basics in this program. So we have a lot of respect, a lot of admiration towards our colleagues who teach basics of coaching, who teach basics of HR. And I think we think about this program as a kind of next level skill in terms of coaching plus HR. So I would say that basic coaching training would be very helpful, because we will throw you right into the deep end of the pool. That's what we will do. So stay tuned.
Yes, we will.
Yes, we absolutely will. So 3 key takeaways from this. Number 1, this is online. Number 2, we are starting in January. This is January 16th. And we're taking a deep dive in December the 7th. And December is an complimentary experience. We are very happy to welcome you, and we will be, we're very much encouraging you to join in. And this is how you do this. Here's the QR code.
This is QR code for the webinar. I know some people ask me, you cannot join the program yet. As I said, we're going to have a very small group of people. We want you to experience us. Come join for this webinar. You'll have a real life experience. You'll probably get to do some work in breakout rooms. It's going to be, you're going to get a really good sense if this program is for you or not. So when we created it, and as I said, we do work with a lot of clients, we wanted to make it super tangible and we wanted to make it very applicable to your role. So I want people who are super committed. Like, I don't want people who are like, I'm kind of thinking about it. I'm like, no, like, you're inside, you're tired of putting down fires and being in a constant service role. You are ready to go to the next level. You want to become more of a business, HR business partner, HR coaching partner, and you need the skills. So these are the kind of people we're looking for. If you know you're a yes, you want to be part of the program, again, message me, message Anastasia. But I would invite you to join the webinar and really make a decision. Do you have the time? Because it's a 10-week commitment. It's about 20 hours, 20-hour commitment in 10 weeks, in 2.5 months. Do you have capacity, which means cognitive capacity, mental capacity? And do you have, I want you to be inside organization so you can practice. Because again, if you're not employed right now, it's going to be really hard to make it applicable. So ideally, you're in a role and you have some freedom to play with some concepts and stop, kind of start integrating them. So these are the people we're looking for.
Yeah. And can you imagine that you will end up in a group of people highly committed, highly motivated, really willing to upskill? I think that's just a treat. So yeah, wrapping this up, I'm so grateful for everyone for just being here, making the time. I can only imagine just how much work you have, and still you made it to this conversation. Thank you so much. I'm very much hoping that it was helpful, and reach out. Let's continue this conversation and let's build the new frontier of HR, where people are, extend coaching skills to each other, where we build a meaningful workplace, where we really help everybody shine in the workplace. So that's our mission.
Nothing else to add. Yes, it is. Thank you, guys. I know we went a little bit over time. Everybody who registered will get a recording. We will publish it on our page. There is a whole new page that we have created. So yeah, keep asking us questions, keep commenting, keep asking questions. Let's get curious with each other.
Fantastic.
And enjoy your weekend, the rest of your
Thank
weekend.
you. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.